Alrighty. It's
Yeah.
free agency day 2, but there's not a lot. I mean, there is actually a lot going on, but we are going to switch focus from free agency and get back on track and try and help some of y'all build some good Dynasty teams. So if you are a member and you are on the top of the list right now, your team is probably getting reviewed tonight. We actually contacted those people whose teams we planned on reviewing tonight. But I mean, do you want to talk about anything in free agency since we last went live? I know Diontae Johnson just got traded to the Panthers. That's a huge move. I kind of love that move for both him and Bryce Young because he's clearly the number one weapon there unless they address it in the NFL draft where they get a big name. And Bryce Young needs someone just like Diontae. We keep talking about them needing someone who can separate. I've compared Ladd McConkey to who has been rumored to the Panthers, to Diontae Johnson a lot. And now they go out and they get Diontae. So, I mean, feels good for both of those guys.
Yeah, I think I'm a little bit on edge with Diontae and Bryce. I think like it's a good move yet to get separation. Is he going to be producing the same fantasy output that we were hoping and seeing in the Steelers? Probably not. I think the expectation is that he should be better with a better quarterback, quote unquote, better quarterback in Bryce Young. But the overall team is not the best. When I mean team, I mean, I guess offensive lineman, even though they did pick up a couple pieces. But I think right now with Diontae Johnson, I think I'm more of like, okay, people are buying the hype. Can I sell?
Really?
Can I sell right now? Yeah. I mean,
I think we see that differently.
And what can I get for him?
If the ghost of Adam Thielen last year was able to finish as a top 17 wide receiver and saw 137 targets, you're adding someone who's like, what, 7 years younger? I don't know actually what the actual year is, but you're adding a much younger version of Adam Thielen, a guy who can separate, a guy who can get open, and the only player on that team right now who can. I guess I see this completely differently. I want to buy Diontae Johnson. I'm excited about what he could do at this phase of his career with a very accurate quarterback who has no one outside of Adam to throw the ball to. So yeah, I could see him putting up career numbers in Carolina the next couple of years.
Look, and that can definitely be the case. I think I want to maybe pivot to somebody that I feel a little bit more comfortable with. Within that range, I'm not necessarily sure, like without going too deep, where Diontae Johnson is ranked, but like the first person I can think of is Hollywood. Do I want Hollywood Brown with Marvin Harrison being the number 2, or Diontae, or
I love Hollywood, but I don't know where he's going yet, so it's tough to say. But
yeah, exactly. That's what I'm saying.
I feel like the opportunity for Diontae, like if Hollywood goes to Kansas City, it's a great spot, but I don't think he's as important to that offense as Diontae would be.
Yeah, so it just really depends on who you can pivot to, which I believe I need to wrap my head around first before I'm all in. I like the landing spot. I think if the price is where everyone's going and people are saying 140 target season, if people are thinking that already, I think I might want to cash in if they're really believing that he is going to be getting crazy amount of opportunity to somebody I feel a little bit more comfortable with.
Yeah, I will be looking to tier up from him, use a 3rd round pick and a player that's, a tier below him to go out and get a Diontae Johnson right now. That'd be my goal. We see you guys in the chat. What's up, Daniel Macy? 44 days until the NFL draft. We're getting closer and closer. What's up, Maddie Lowe? We see Brady Thomas says, what's up? Nick says Bryce Young season. What's up, Sim? What's up, Matthew Beffa? Bryce Young stock up. I mean, they got an offensive lineman. They got a good wide receiver. Why not? What's up, Major Tuddy? You'd love to see it. What's up, Maddie Lowe? What's up? Chris says Bryce Young is not at throwing touchdowns, and Diontae is not good at catching touchdowns. I mean, I think that's a little too simplified, but fair enough. What's up, Big Rella? Welcome in, guys. We are glad to have all of you in the stream hanging out with us. A couple other names. Joe Mixon goes to Houston, It is for a
I
seventh
love that
round
landing
pick.
spot for him. Yeah.
Good landing spot. They have said they're not done adding, so don't be surprised if they still
Yes.
draft someone, if they add another free agent.
Aaron Jones to the Vikings as well, by the way.
Aaron Jones goes to the Vikings. Devontae Parker to the Eagles, as if we really need to say that. Gerald Everett to the Bears, which is interesting. How do you feel about that as a Cole Kmet resident truther?
It doesn't scare me whatsoever. I think he's just a depth piece, personally.
Derrick Henry to the Ravens. Great landing spot. We did a startup yesterday. I was able to get him as my RB1 in round 11. I don't imagine he's lasting till round 11 anymore. But hopefully you're able to buy him for, cheap before that. Darnell Mooney, 3-year deal to the Falcons. Can we agree they're not going wide receiver at pick 8?
I mean, with that money, I would say yes. But at the same time, I still wouldn't be surprised if they were to take one. But I mean, you're not giving Darnell Mooney, what is it, 36 million, something ridiculous like that, and take another wide receiver in round 8. So yes, I would agree.
Mike Gesicki to the Bengals on a 1-year deal. I am intrigued by that. But those are really the big names. Obviously, Sam Darnold goes to the Vikings. I have Sam Darnold on all the teams where I had Brock Purdy, just in case. So it was fun to be like, all right. I mean, hey, there's actually a team where I had Bryce Young and Matthew Stafford, and I was like, oh, damn, like next year's looking rough. But I had Gardner Minshew, and I had Sam Darnold. I was like, oh, wow, I got a lot of options now. Not league winners, but I got some options. What's up, Sparrow? What's up, Kai? We see all you in the chat. Thanks for hanging out with us, guys. But all right, tonight we are going to be helping people with their Dynasty teams. We're doing Dynasty team reviews. If you want your team reviewed by yours truly, very simple. All you need to do is become a Mother Flocker member with the promo code LAND. Got to be using the code LAND. Have to be a Mother Flocker member. And when you sign up, go to account, link your Discord, and then you should automatically unlock all of the premium Discord channels that we offer, including the roster submissions tab where you can submit your roster. Keep in mind, if you choose to have the free trial instead of instant access, no problem, but you will have to wait for that free trial to end in order for you to be eligible for your team review. We also just released version 3 of our 2024 rookie report, so if you want to go check that out, you can do so. We are going to update our rankings soon. It's too chaotic right now to update rankings day by day
while everything is happening. Yeah.
So very soon we will obviously unlimited access to the trade calculator as well. But today we are reviewing 3 teams, and MaadHats is the first team that we are reviewing. Is MaadHats in the chat? Let us know if you are or if you are not. I mean, if you aren't, you won't let us know because you're not here. But let us know if MaadHats is in the chat because he's the first team that we are reviewing. Why don't you go ahead and walk us through his little blurb, if you will?
Yeah, absolutely. Here, appreciate you, MaadHats. He said, "What's good, Flockers? Looking forward to seeing if I can help. Y'all can help me rebuild my first orphan team." Okay, so it's an orphan. He's picking this up here. 12-team PPR SuperFlex, 2 wide receivers, 2 running backs, I'm assuming 3 wide receivers, and a tight end with 2 extra flex. So yeah, so 3 wide receivers and 2 flex, meaning he can start up to 5 wide receivers. Drafting at picks, and then you can see 102, 109, 110, so on and so forth. Also have feature first from the guy picking from the 109 this year. Jefferson, Moore, and Zach Wilson were acquired for Golf, AJ Brown, and Nico Collins by the previous owner. Not 100% sure how the owner picks were acquired. Okay, guy picking at the 101 most likely takes Marvin Harrison Jr., so taking Caleb is 100% okay with me at the 102, but I'm always looking to gain value where I can. League has not been super active since joining, but I have been in casual talks to acquire Trey McBride. Okay, that would be nice, depending on what the rest of the team looks like. Would prefer to trade more Terry or Deontay for the right value, but I'm not opposed to moving Jefferson as well. Can't wait to hear your feedback.
First thing I would say, Badaki, is it's not uncommon for Dynasty Leagues to not be super active from, January to the draft, really. Yeah. I mean, free agency will spark some conversation and some trades, but it is Dynasty season at that point, but it also is not like the hype of trades because there are like, no news, no moves, that kind of stuff. So that's not that surprising.
Mm-hmm.
But why don't we go ahead and dive into his team?
Yeah, his team is MaadHats.
Team 3.
Team 3. Yeah, Team 3 here from MaadHats, and it looks fairly even when you look across the board here. Looking at the rankings on Keep Trade Cut. Right. Yeah, it is a SuperFlex league. All right. Quarterbacks, Justin Fields, Zach Wilson, and Malik Willis. He did mention of getting Caleb Williams there. So having Justin Fields and then Caleb Williams definitely feels a lot better if Justin Fields gets traded. How do you feel about that right now? Apparently, all the rumors, all the reports, the market's not there, and the teams are vanishing right before our eyes at the moment for Justin Fields. So it kind of feels like you need to get another addition if you have a Justin Fields on your team.
Well, what I would say is this was one of my concerns. I don't remember mid last season. I was kind of like, I think I want to pivot off of Justin Fields where I have him. And I was trying to do that last year. And it was just because, like, if you don't reach a certain, like, expectation within the first 3 years, it's not that you won't have chances, but those chances are limited. And we've obviously known for a long time the Bears are going to have the 101. We've known how good Caleb Williams is. And it's quite concerning that teams, instead of trading a second or a third or whatever it would cost for Justin Fields, are deciding, I'd rather sign Gardner Minshew to a 2-year deal. I'd rather sign Sam Darnold to a 1-year deal and see what happens. So that is concerning. The landing spots are shrinking by the day. And we're talking about a realistic chance that he's a backup, which is crazy. Unless there's like a team that comes out of nowhere.
Well, that's the thing. I think the Bears are really, from what I've been reading, the Bears are really hard pressed. It's like, we don't want anything less than a second for Justin Fields. Nothing less. Who's coming at me? Let me know when you're ready. And no one's biting. Yeah. Right? And so what they're going to do, you're going to keep Justin Fields as a backup with Caleb Williams, or you can trade him away from what, at the moment, it seems like other teams, NFL teams, are valuing him as maybe a 4th, 5th round pick at the moment. But just all depends on what's going to be happening here with Justin Fields. So, look, Justin Fields could potentially be a backup quarterback here, which for you, MaadHat, is not the perfect scenario, unfortunately. But you still have some decent draft picks at the 109.
Just quickly as well, it's also not the right time to sell him.
100%.
So right now we have no idea where he is. The confidence is at an all-time low. And it's just not the right time to sell him because there is a chance he's still a starter. It's just like you're going to be losing value if you trade him right now. So
it could definitely be a dark horse team though, and that dark horse team could be any team, and that can be a big boost for someone like a Justin Fields.
Yeah. But anyway, the quarterback spot in a Superflex league, this is rough. Like, pointing me towards, like, should we reset? But we'll talk about that. Because there's obviously good news. Your running back room is decent. You've got Saquon. You've got Aaron Jones. But there is a timeline on this. Not on Saquon. I mean, he's still in a good window for you to win now. But Aaron Jones has a 1-year deal. He'll be 30 soon. Rashawn Johnson, we thought there could be a breakout, but DeAndre Swift is there. There's really not much depth. And if Aaron Jones goes down, what happens? I mean, Aaron Jones hasn't been able to stay healthy. Wide receiver's clearly your strong suit here. And which I would not want to move Deontay Johnson personally, because you and I see that differently, but it is his strongest position at wide receiver for sure.
Yeah, 100%. And
is there a tight end premium here? No.
It's not a tight end premium. It's hard because you can go either way. If Justin Fields signs with a team, I think my biggest thing is Justin Fields. If Justin Fields signs with a team and you have Caleb Williams, you have a great pathway to get to the next level. But if that doesn't happen, if he is a starting quarterback week 1, then you're kind of in this limbo of where, like, what do I get? Like, I think the only way, and the way I'm visualizing this to move forward, is to understand where's Justin Fields going to go, and if not, we need to start making moves to get another quarterback. Because I do agree, you have decent running backs, you have decent wide receivers. It looks like you were trying to get some opportunities with Trey McBride here. So
yeah, I wonder what the cost on Trey McBride was for him. But let's go to the whiteboard here. Let's look at these picks. I would
do you feel the same way
about what? Sorry.
like do you feel the same way of like he's kind of going to be in limbo until Justin Fields
Yeah,
finds a team? And
because
this
well, here's the issue. I would be close to tearing this thing down personally. And the reason I say that is because there's no guarantee that if you get Caleb Williams that he's going to be the star that we want him to be, you know? And guys like Justin Herbert and CJ Stroud are setting really unhealthy expectations for rookie quarterbacks. So you are betting on best case scenario here. Number one, Justin Fields is a starter somewhere. It's looking difficult, not impossible. Hey, what if the Bears are like, you know what? Fuck it. We'll take Marvin. Who knows, right? That could happen, right? But it's still an unknown. The second unknown is that the guy you drafted at the 102 is actually going to be a good quarterback in the NFL. We don't know that, right? And then you have no tight end right now. Maybe we'll figure that out with one of these second-round picks, or we can make a trade. Your wide receiver room is strong, but Aaron Jones could easily go down. He's 30 years old. Who's to say that they won't bring in someone through the draft? So it's just tough because there's a lot of unknowns here, and there's a lot of good players that I think we could capitalize on in a full reset. So I'm not claiming we have to reset, but you're definitely in limbo, like you mentioned, until you find out at minimum what's going to happen with Justin Fields.
Yeah.
But this is everything has to go right type of team if you want to compete right now.
Yeah, and that's the thing. And I think there's only one thing that has to go right, and that's Justin Fields. I feel like he can then build off of a running back if he needed, because he has decent wide receiver depth. If you think of from Justin Jefferson to Hollywood Brown, he has Darnell Mooney, who's also now added, and he could potentially be playing a piece, at least in my opinion. And he has the draft capital. He has the 102, 102, the 109. I think he has the 111 or 110 too. He has the draft capital to continue to build a team here.
But you're still betting on a lot of things that you don't know are going to happen. You're betting on Fields being a starter. You're betting on Caleb being good. You're betting on Aaron Jones being healthy. You're betting on you being able to figure out the tight end position and at least getting a starter. I think you're betting on more than just one thing going right for you. Personally.
Maybe, yeah, I mean, like, I'm not necessarily concerned about Aaron. Like, for me, I'm not concerned about Aaron Jones. I'm not concerned about the tight end position, because I think those are things that can be fixed relatively easily outside of the quarterback position.
Okay.
That's how
the
I'm
limited
seeing
resources you have, you think you'll be able to do that?
I mean, he has like 7 picks in the top.
Well, walk us through it. What would you
1,
do then?
2, 3, 4, 5.
What would you do with these picks?
It's technically has 5 picks here. Well, the only thing the real thing that I would do is draft Caleb Williams with the 102, get best player available, and then go best player available at the 109.
Let's start there. What if Caleb Williams isn't actually available?
Okay, so then you can go Marvin Harrison Jr. or trade back and then get another quarterback.
Okay. So at the
Just
102, going Caleb Williams. What are you thinking after that?
The 109 here, you go in that area. That can be another wide receiver or even another quarterback. Hypothetically, JJ Bo Nix could potentially be there. Or you can just go best player available at the wide receiver, and that can be, the Adonai Mitchells, the Lam McConkeys. You continue to build in that wide receiver room at the 109. The 202 is a perfect spot that we've kind of been saying is to get a running back if they do get that draft capital in a Trey Benson, or Jonathan Brooks, right? And if that Trey Benson, Jonathan Brooks, Jalen Wright can all potentially go there at the 202. Once again, depending on draft capital, and that automatically helps you in that running back position. Now, the biggest caveat here is the tight end and how and who can we get at the tight end position. And then from the 209 to the 409, you continue to get the best player available. And that can be from, that can just be anyone along those lines. my biggest thing here at the tight end position that I've kind of been telling. I mean, first of all, I would like to know what the offer was for Trey McBride. It looks like the guy that has Trey McBride has a lot of these opportunities, right? You look at his team 6. He has Trey McBride, George Kittle, Michael Mayer, Dallas Goedert. And if he's trying to trade Trey McBride away, see what you can get that for, right? And can you package one of these picks or a wide receiver, knowing that you're going to be getting another wide receiver either at the 102, at the 109, which you probably have to use one of those two to get a Trey McBride. So I think he can fix this team in the draft. Once again, I think the only other biggest caveat here is a QB3. And that's the only thing that I would be wanting to emphasize, because yeah, you're right. If everything does go right, Justin Fields gets traded away, you get Caleb Williams, you have to get another quarterback, because if Justin Fields doesn't plan out, then you don't have another QB. But that would be my thought process in here. I don't think this team is. I don't think it's an automatic fail. Yeah. But I can see where you're saying like he can blow it up. Sure, he can blow it up 100%. You can sell Justin Jefferson. You can sell Saquon Barkley, who's going to the Eagles. You can sell DJ Moore if you really wanted to. You have the pieces to blow it up to then get the best future picks. So that's what I would do in my scenario.
Now, I would probably go at 180 there if it was my team. I can understand where you're coming from, but it would. I don't know. I just personally think too much has to go right for you to really be competing. You look at the guy up here at Team 1, Jordan Love, Brock Purdy, Derek Carr. He's got a Monrod, Garrett Wilson, Tank Dell. He's got a fine starting tight end. He's got Team 2 as Josh Allen, C.J. Stroud, Matthew Stafford, Breece Hall, Zach Moss, Debo, Evans, Cooper, Kyle Pitts. We'll see if that works out. The good news is your league is relatively balanced, but I'm not sure I would even put you in like the top 4 if I was just looking at players. I know that the picks, we always say the picks could work out. Oftentimes the picks don't work out. And we have to prepare for that being a possibility. I mean, the hit rate on a pick is not 100%. We all know that. Right now, players only, Keep Trade Cut has you at 6th. And I think that's probably where you are, middle of the pack, if you keep all your pieces. Keeping in mind that Aaron Jones hasn't been able to stay healthy for a while. That doesn't mean that he will be injured in Minnesota. But to rely on him as an RB2 as you're trying to compete, I'm not sure I would feel comfortable with that. We talk about the picks, but if we're going to address the tight end position, we have to use those picks, especially if you're going to go out and get a Trey McBride, who is most people's tight end too. A lot of it does hinge on Justin Fields. Look, if Justin Fields ends up getting traded to the Patriots or something that we don't see coming, and then you can draft Caleb Williams, well, you're still in a position where you're hoping, if you're trying to compete right now, that Caleb Williams is a good quarterback. And there's no guarantee that that's going to happen. There's no guarantee that you won't sustain injuries. This isn't a team that's deep enough where if Fields goes down wherever he is, or if Saquon goes down, or if Jefferson went down, he just went down last year, where you're in a position where you're probably glad that you went all in. So just my opinion doesn't mean I'm right. But if it were my team, I probably would be looking to tear this thing down. And okay. I think you have the pieces to do that. Not to say that you have to sell all these players, or if you don't get these players off your team in a certain timeline, you're screwed or anything like that. But you have, like we have mentioned, huge names. You got Justin Jefferson. You got Saquon Barkley, whose price just skyrocketed through the roof. You got DJ Moore, who we love. There's definitely people out there who love DJ Moore. You've got great draft capital. You've got Terry. You got Deontay Johnson, who I don't really want to sell. But in your team, I think you could actually sell him. You've got Terry McLaurin. Like these guys I'm highlighting in yellow, you could wait to sell them in season when they're producing. Don't forget, Adam Thielen went for a 2nd round pick in a lot of leagues last year for competing teams. What happens if Deontay Johnson is a top 20 wide receiver at his age, getting a bunch of targets? I mean, you could maybe get more than a 2nd round. You get multiple seconds potentially for a guy like Deontay Johnson. So to me, I look at this team, I just think too much has to go right. Our draft picks have to pick, or have to hit. Our quarterbacks, I mean, we're stretching that 109 too many places. We're talking about the 109. Can we use it to get a tight end? Can we use it to get a quarterback 3? We don't even know if our quarterback 2 is going to be starting. Can we add to our wide receiver room? Is Hollywood Brown going to land somewhere? Are my running backs going to stay healthy? So for me, I'd be looking to get as much value as possible with all of these picks. Does that mean I trade back from the 102 to get anywhere from the 103 to the 105 plus value? Because I'm super open to that. I guarantee you, if Caleb Williams is on the board, there's going to be plenty of teams in your league that are going to be very open to making that kind of move. Can I package the 109 and trade back? Because it's a good spot, but it's an awkward spot. Can I get back to like the 112 to the 202 plus value? Everything that I would be doing personally with this team is just completely tearing it down, committing to the fact that I don't think I'm one of the top 3 teams in this league. I don't think I'm seriously competing. So why don't I get the most value out of these names? Can I turn Justin Jefferson into 3 firsts plus a player that I like? Can I turn Saquon Barkley into 2 firsts now that he's got a long-term deal with the Eagles? Can I tier down from DJ Moore and get picks? So these are all the kind of moves that I would be looking to make. And guess what? While you're making all these moves and getting future draft capital, well, you're still being able to make picks here with these picks. So now you have a Jaden Daniels as your quarterback 1, and we'll see what happens with Justin Fields. Does Justin Fields become a starter? If starter, you can trade him. What can we move him for? You got Jaden Daniels there. Maybe at the 109 or the 110, you add a Lad McConkey, so it's not like your team is completely barren of talent. You're starting to build around your team, but you're building around it with future draft capital. That's going to give you flexibility moving forward. Because if Aaron Jones doesn't, if he doesn't perform the way you want him to, that's a dead asset this time next year. At this point, can you get multiple second-round picks for Aaron Jones? So that's the route I personally would be taking with this team. Doesn't mean it's right, but you already have 2 firsts in 2025. And we can just shoot for the moon with all these second-round picks. If I had all these second-round picks, again, I'm shooting for the moon. Best player available. Did one of these guys, like a Will Levis situation, right? Can I take that at like the 202? Will Levis of the draft. And kind of have this asset that's a wild card on my team moving forward. So that's the kind of moves that I would personally make. Like I said, there's too much that has to go right for me. I got to be honest with my team, and I just don't think that with this team, with the picks, we're guaranteed like a top 4 team in this league. I think we're battling for the playoffs, but one injury away from being, a very mid team in this league.
Yeah. Well, I mean, there's 2 different ways.
Yeah.
2 different ways for you there, MaadHats, if you really wanted to. I guess you didn't really say also in the description like which direction you wanted to take. So I guess you got 2 directions, or 2 pathways there for you as well, which is good for you. But yeah, use their fantasy hotline. I don't have anything else to say regarding the team, but use your fantasy hotline.
Yeah.
We would definitely love to help you, and let us know which pathway you choose, and then we can help you, with all those trades that are going to come your way.
Yeah, and look, there's not a right or wrong way to do this. I mean, keep in mind, guys, every year we all think we're going to win, and less than 10% of you actually win, right? It's only 1 person out of 12. But you could be that 1 person. So whichever direction you want to go, I mean, if you want to fix your team through the draft and bet on the draft, it's a very good class. This could be the class that you do it in, and you also don't have to make this decision right now. You can go through the NFL draft. You can try and get maximum value for all these picks that you have in 2024, and then you can decide in October or September or August if you want to go all in or if you want to kind of try and build it, tear it down. So that's two directions that you could go, I guess. And Badaki would agree with this. Just like look at your team, look at your league, and ask yourself, do you think you're going to be competing this year? And if the answer is yes, go and do it. If the answer is no, then maybe see what kind of value you can get for your superstars.
Yeah, no doubt.
All right,
Continues
cool.
to go from there and build from there.
Please let us know if you do have any questions. I would say Justin Jefferson. Like, what are some teams? Because, you know, normally we give people teams that they can go out and target. Well, the guy who has a 103 is a great start because he has one hell of a team.
Yeah, you want to go in the top 5, no question, when it comes down to Justin Jefferson. You want a top 5 pick and more
So
for that.
give me the 103, for example. I mean, I'll just give you an example for this team. The 103, and he's got Breece Hall. He's got Evans, Wandale. What if you could get the 103 Kyle Pitts and the 203? What would you think about that?
What was it again? The 103.
103, the 203, and Kyle Pitts. You could probably get more, but I mean that's a starting point.
I think you can get more.
Yeah,
you should be getting more personally.
Yeah.
So when I think of that trade specifically,
that's a baseline. You can add to it. You can add his 25 first, you know, whatever. But those are the kind of moves that you're trying to make. Who has the 104 in this league? Great. I mean, this guy has the 104. He's got Jaden Reed. That's a easy kind of tier down, if that makes sense. So can we do a 104 plus Jaden Reed? Plus what? Let me see here on this guy's team. Plus probably your 25 first. Let's see. Your 25 first, and we'll figure out the rest. But that's your baseline. So these are just some ideas if you are going to try and shop your superstars. But at the end of the day, you got to make sure, you know, whatever direction you want to go, make sure you're getting the best value for your players or your picks. And 100%. We would be more than happy to help you with that in the fantasy hotline. But MaadHats, hopefully that is helpful. 2 directions, 2 ways that you can go about it. We are going to move on to the next team. So if you guys want your team reviewed like we just did for MaadHats, it's very, very simple. All you need to do is become a Mother Flocker member with the promo code LAND. Once you have signed up to the website, you can go to the top right, you can click account, and then you can link your Discord, which you will then unlock all of our premium Discord channels over in the Discord. Keep in mind, guys, we do go in order, okay? And we've already messaged the people whose teams we're going to look at tonight. But if you want your team to be reviewed, that is how you do it. Again, very, very simple. Become a Mother Flocker member with the promo code LAND. Link your Discord. You're going to get the rookie report. You're going to get the Dynasty team review, the trade calculator, the complete rankings, all Discord channels, all databases on the site.
The whole shebang, baby.
The whole damn thing is going to be at your hands. Now, the next person's team we are going to review, I haven't actually been able to get into contact with him. I've tried. I've tried messaging him. Maybe he's watching the content, but he's not actually over on the Discord. I'm not sure. I've sent him a couple friend requests, so I don't know too much outside of only what we've seen here on the Discord.
Okay.
But we are going to review his team, and hopefully he sees this. I did see he has an active membership. So go ahead and walk us through the next team here.
Yeah, I'm not really sure how to say it. We're just gonna call you B22. We appreciate you. That is the next guy up here. He says, "What's good, y'all? Love the content. I'm in 4 Dynasty leagues, but know that there's only one submission, so I figured I'd give the biggest money and hardest league that I'm in for the format is very difficult for most." Okay. 16 team PPR Superflex tight end premium with tight end receiving an extra PPR. Okay. Start 1 running back, 1 wide receiver, 1 tight end, 2 wide receiver, 2 flex spots, and then 2 wide receiver or running back flex only. Okay, looks like, and then 1 wide receiver and tight end flex. That's a little bit. That is very interesting.
Okay, so it's a Superflex league though. Okay, so it's Superflex tight end premium. So 2 quarterbacks. Let's write this down so we're on the same page. 2 quarterbacks, 1 running back,
1 wide receiver, 1 tight end, 2 flex spots, 2 normal flex spots, wide receiver, running back, tight ends.
2 normal flex.
Yeah, 2 normal flex.
Wide receiver, running back. It doesn't say you can put tight end there though.
No.
Oh, sorry. Okay, go ahead. Okay, 2 normal.
There's 2 normal flex. There's 2 wide receiver, running back flex. 1 wide receiver, tight end flex.
What is happening? Why are we making this so difficult? Okay.
He said we drafted vets.
Just make it 5 flex spots at that point.
Yeah, 100%. We drafted vets first and have a rookie draft coming May 1st. Okay, I made some big moves already and like the setup so far. However, I was forced to punt tight end during the draft as they were so high prioritized.
Yeah, it's a full point.
High priority. Yeah, so I worried it hurt me at the end. I'm worried it hurt me in the end. Suggestions on the moves to make would be fantastic. Looking forward to hearing from you. He also has something else. As I traded down from Jamar Chase, I gave up quite a bit of draft capital for him. Where to go from here?
I'd love to know what that trade was.
Yeah, he also says in my inbox currently is a 112, the 24 112, a 24, the 204, the 401, and a 25 second and a 25 first.
26, so no 25
26 first. Would you move or keep? Is that for Justin Jefferson, you're saying?
No, Jamar Chase, you mean? He
Jamar
didn't
Chase.
show us the Jamar Chase.
That's what I'm saying. Is that for Jamar Chase, though? No, but he said I traded down. So it's a little bit confusing with all the context that he kind of gave.
Yeah, is he saying that offer is on the table for Chase? That's what you're asking. Well, that's not enough for Chase, but I don't know if that's what he's saying. Okay, yeah. Well, why don't we just start by looking at the team? We do know the team name. First off, that is one of the most funky formats I've seen in a while. It's
how many?
It's start 10. 2 quarterbacks, 1 running back, 1 wide receiver, 1 tight end, 2 flex spots. You can start 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5,
5 wide
6 wide receivers.
6 wide receivers. Okay, so let's maybe look at it in that perspective.
You don't have to start. You have to start a tight end. Okay, yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
You can start 3 running backs, but you only have to start 1. So we'll build around wide receivers is what we do.
Exactly. All right. So he is team 4 in this ranking here. Remember, this is a 16-man league, so these teams are going to be looking somewhat bare at times.
That is important context because a lot of people won't play in a 16-man, and they might look at some of these teams and think that team's bad. Well, just keep in mind it's a 16-team league, so important context. By the way, he does have his 25 first.
Mm-hmm.
I don't see his 26 first.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
No idea what it went for. Anyway, go ahead.
Quarterback CJ Stroud, Daniel Jones, Geno Smith there.
It's not bad in a 16-man.
It's not terrible in a 16-man league, no question about it. CJ Stroud is a huge jump. Geno Smith is somebody you can lean on this year. And maybe even Daniel Jones if they don't draft a quarterback in the first round. The running back position, remember, essentially you can start up to 3, but you really in reality only have to start 1, and that 1 is Jonathan Taylor for you. Jonathan Taylor, Javonte Williams, Zach Moss, Khalil Herbert, and the rest goes on. Zach Moss is an interesting pickup. He does stay with he does get traded or moved to the Cincinnati Bengals. So it looks like he's going to be having some decent amount of workload coming into this year, potentially there with Chase Brown. And then Javonte Williams there, who I've been saying I will be pivoting off of if I personally could. But at the moment, if you're thinking about starting 1 running back, that is Jonathan Taylor, and you set and forget and not having to worry about starting another running back, which I'm okay. And if Jonathan Taylor goes down, you have Javonte Williams, you have Zach Moss, and that is okay. So that's where I'm
actually going to run a scenario by you there, because I feel like we could use Javonte Williams as a trade piece, but I also would acknowledge that maybe this league doesn't care about running backs like Javonte Williams either. So that might be something to consider. Is a 16-man? We'll look at options, but because now you've got Zach Moss. Zach Moss looks like a potential starter in Cincinnati. At least you got JT. If you keep JT and Zach Moss, I think we might be able to move Javonte. We'll talk about that, but continue. Sorry.
At the wide receiver position, Remember, so you can start up to 6. Richie Rich, Jalen Reed, Christian Kirk, and then no one else. Essentially, you have Noah
Noah
Brown.
Brown, yeah.
I mean, look, Noah Brown's there. Xavier Hutchinson. The list goes on. Tyler Scott is
Tyler
somebody that's
Scott is gonna
interesting.
break out this year, so yeah,
But
I'm just
in a
kidding. Who
16-man
knows?
league, maybe these guys
Yeah.
are a little bit more worth it. No question about it. You know, like Noah Brown, when he had his little stint in a 16-man league, you were kind of bussing about that last year, saying, "I'm glad that I have him on my team." But remember, being able to start up to 6, and in reality, you only have 3 wide receivers. I can say we both will comfortably start on a week-to-week basis going into next year,
Yeah, it's
into the
really
season.
Rice, Reed, and Kirk, and we like those three. But in a league where you can start 6, it's not what we'd want. I know it's 16 man. Now he's clearly made some moves because Dalton Kincaid is his tight end,
And
and
he doesn't have Jamar Chase anymore.
he did. I traded down for Jamar Chase. No, the thing is, yeah. So where did Chase go? Well, he clearly got Dalton Kincaid in some sort of deal. The concerning part is our draft capital has not changed much. So I wonder what we really got for Jamar Chase. We can't
Jamar
say.
Chase is no longer on his team. He's on team 7.
So team 7? I don't see that.
MJ 27 or something like that. I don't know which one a year. On my screen is MJ.
MJ 27 is
MJB.
5th for me. That's weird.
Yeah. He has Jamar. Well, I'm looking at full team and picks. I don't know what you're looking at.
Oh, okay.
Anyways.
Yeah, same.
He has Jamar Chase. So I wonder if he had the 109 and traded down to the 111 for Jamar Chase. He traded away Jamar Chase. I don't know. I'm just thinking of hypotheticals, right? Like he had Jamar Chase. He was really like he even emphasized I've messed up at the tight end position. He had Dalton Kincaid, so he traded away Jamar Chase and got the 111 and Dalton Kincaid and did a pick swap. That we wouldn't like it.
The unfortunate part is like it won't really help him for us to guess what it was. So let's just look at his current team. Again, keeping in context, it is a 16-man league. I think the first thing that comes to mind to me is Javonte Williams is a movable piece. I'm not sure where you stand there, but I would say Javonte Williams is really one of the only pieces I can look at as like a pivot option to try and improve the rest of our roster. So I'm not sure if you would agree, but let's try and find a team that is really weak at running back, and let's see what kind of wide receivers they have on their team, because we can afford in a league where we only need one, we can afford to lose one. So Team 2 has Brian Robinson as his number 1 running back. I wonder if we can get our hands on one of these wide receivers here. Your Londons, your Waddles, your Pittmans. If any of those are possible, and keep in mind, I'm well aware that all those names are probably more valuable than Javonte Williams. But what do we need to add on to that, right? I mean, do we need to add on... First off, you can start by just offering that and see what the reply is. But do we need to add on like the 212 to get one of those deals done? Because this person looks like they're potentially desperate. Do they have any picks in a good position to improve the running back spot?
They have 113, which technically is a sweet spot for a running back.
But still not a guarantee. So not a lot of picks after that. So they might be open to a move, like that where... Okay, I'll give you Javonte and the 212 for Drake London, for example. What is that guy's team name that we're talking about right now, by any means?
Yeah.
Cool. And who else can we point to that needs a running back?
Another team that definitely needs a running back would be team... I just had it up here. Where is he? Send me trades.
Oh my god, yeah. Oh my god.
Once again, I think he's also in this sweet spot to potentially get a running back at the 116. What's 116? The 206? No, 12. Yeah, 206. 204. No, 206. Yeah. Quick maths. All
How
depends,
do
but
people feel about Pickens without Deontay Johnson now?
I feel like it emphasizes more of them drafting a wide receiver in the first round now, in my opinion.
I think they
I don't know how
could.
I don't know how you feel about it because they're kind of in that sweet spot in the NFL draft, and I don't think they can just be rocking with Deontay Johnson. I mean, sorry, with George Pickens in the pick 20. Is this a team that can get Adonai Mitchell, can get the Xavier Worthy, can get the Lamb McConkey there if they go in that first round? That's what I'm kind of envisioning them doing. But unless they get somebody in the second.
Yeah, no, that's certainly possible. Um, but yeah, so not an ideal trade target because I actually don't mind like the Pickens move now that I'm thinking. It's a 16-man league. What's this guy's name? Send Me Trades, is that his name?
Yeah.
And he is about to get Marvin Harrison, or maybe he goes quarterback there, but Send Me Trades. I don't mind like a George Pickens plus. What that plus is, I don't know.
Like, I would be taking shots on lower tier guys and like, do I send Javonte Williams, get George Pickens, and a Jalen Hyatt? Like, I feel like these guys potentially, like the lower tier Jalen Hyatt who hasn't broken out yet, the Wanda Robinsons, maybe the Marvin Mims, the Josh Downs.
Okay.
Those guys feel a little bit more important in a 16-man league. I don't know how you feel about that.
I'd rather try and grab the 116, but I definitely like hear where you're coming from. And then I can send you, if you need something back in return, I can send you like the 312 or something, just like as a as an example, right? But again, George Pickens in this format is going to be a little bit more valuable. And keep in mind, guys, yeah, we say this every time, but oftentimes it's like, well, that's not realistic. The point is to get every person's foot in the door. And the point isn't to tell them this is exactly what's going to work. It's, hey, get your foot in the door with this owner and see what sort of magic you can create together.
It's pretty clear that this league really values running backs. Because I think if you look at the majority of the teams, they have so much depth at running back where we were just okay to have 2 or 3.
Yeah.
We're okay to have 2 or 3 and say, we're only going to start 1.
I think another team that could make sense would be the guy who has Tajay Spears as his RB1, Team 5, because he's probably not feeling great about that now. The issue is you already traded him Jamar Chase, and there's not really another name that makes sense here. What about the 109, though? I mean, I feel like that's pretty even for Javonte Williams.
Really? I don't think so. At least my perspective. Like, just the 109 in general, even in a 12-man league, I don't think it will be of value for Javonte.
You'd rather have Javonte?
I would rather have the 109.
Okay, same. So we're trying to get his foot in the door. I mean, is there a different
Sorry, I thought you were saying I thought you were saying like no. For some reason, I was like, oh, the 109 for Javonte. Like, I don't want Javonte. I want the 109. Okay. Sorry.
Is Jay Ganja Bcicco, by the way? He says, found the trade for Chase. Is this you? Let us know if this is you. I mean, if it is, we'd love to talk to you. But overall, like, I would say in general, this, even though we don't love that we lost Chase, I do love the foundations of this team. You've got CJ Stroud in a 16-man SuperFlex. That's one of the most valuable pieces you can have. You've got a solid running back. You've got 3 wide receivers we like. We can let's now talk about what we would probably do with those picks. And the good news is that you need wide receiver, and this class has got very good wide receivers. So I feel like at every pick, the best player available could be wide receiver. At the 109 is at Mitchell. We talked about Worthy. We talked about McConkey. Those are all real legitimate options for you. Franklin, obviously, as well. At the 209, you're a step down, but you're McMillans of the world. You're Burton, Leggett. Any other names that are coming to mind, Badaki? Roman Wilson.
Roman Wilson's. I mean, the list could go on.
And the same as well for the 209. So the good news is
too as well.
You know what? You got to be a little more realistic because it's a 16-man league. Maybe these names aren't available. Maybe it's a Javon Baker, you know, a Malik Washington, for example. So whatever the best wide receiver available is, you could definitely make that work. Initially gave Cooper and 3 firsts for Jamar Chase and a 24 first. Okay, that's in a 16-man, that might be a little too much for a premium player. What do you think? Because obviously, if we looked at this trade and we said 8-man league, start 8, take Chase every single day, but in a 16-man, start 10.
Yeah.
I don't know where I stand.
In a 16-man, where you have the ability to start a lot of wide receivers, you want the depth. Like, you want these premium players, no question. But like Justin Jefferson and sending away your future picks and not getting depth doesn't necessarily help your team in this scenario. So you essentially
he traded Chase and Fant for Rice, Kincaid, and a 24-second. And I love the players that you got back, but I don't think we got enough draft capital. I mean, look what we gave up to get
look what you gave
Jamar
up.
Chase.
Exactly.
We should have at minimum gotten a first and a second with Rice and Kincaid, but that's okay. I mean, it's too late now to go back and reverse that. What we got to do is just work with what we've got now to try and create the best team. By the way, Bcicco, I've been adding you as a friend over on Discord just to try and set up your hotline there. So look out for your friend requests. But these are the kind of moves that I'd be looking to make. I want to make sure that was there some suggestion you had that I hadn't thought of yet?
Just trying to think.
Trying to look and make sure we answered all of his questions here.
I think that's exactly what I would do here. I mean, I'm not. Yeah, that's about it. The hesitating for the win.
Oh. Did they tell you that it was a good trade? Maybe. Look, 16 man, we always have to take into a context. Like, genuinely, if I told you, Badaki, I said, hey, you're joining a 16-man league, it's start 10, this is your roster, I think you'd feel pretty good about it. And by the way, there's a full point premium for tight ends, and you got Dalton Kincaid.
Yeah, and I think that's what weighs so much. Like, I wonder if they're viewing tight ends as 2 firsts, no matter who they are. And especially Dalton Kincaid that's paired with Josh Allen, they're probably selling that at the highest premium possible.
Well, before that move, we had Chase, Reed, and Tucker Kraft, I think, as our tight end 1. But yeah, still, I think even in this format, we should have gotten a little bit more. But
like, even if we would have sold Jamar Chase, still not have the best tight end, but had the depth at wide receiver.
Ganja says it's not his team, but he found the information on Dynasty Daddy. Okay, that makes sense. I appreciate the help then. But look, this is a good team. I think, like we mentioned, being able to start 6 wide receivers in a 16-man league is a cheat code. That's why I would rather have a DJ Moore and a T Higgins rather than like a Chris Olave and like a Quentin Johnson for a lot. Like, just for example, like two really good starters versus one that is in the top 10 of most people's rankings. Give me 4 guys in the top 20 rather than 2 in the top 7, for example.
Yeah. I agree.
Because those guys are going to be the cheat code. But let's say we traded Javonte for the 109, just as an example. Because that, I think, is probably your best route unless you can get Drake London. Let's say we traded Javonte for the 109. Then we can add one of these names again. Mitchell, Worthy, McConkey, Franklin. And then let's say if it does go this way, now we have Stroud, Daniel Jones, and Geno Smith. We don't feel great about Geno Smith and Daniel Jones, but in a 16-man league, we can't be too picky. We've got JT, Zach Moss as the Bengal as our backup. At wide receiver, we've got Rashee Rice, Jaden Reed, Christian Kirk. We've got Adonai Mitchell. We've got Ladd McConkey. for example, right? And then we've also added a Jalen McMillan and Xavier Legette in the second round of the draft. All of a sudden, our roster looks pretty damn good. I mean, we got to bet on some of those wide receivers to at least hit, but we have some guys that are known producers in the NFL already. And obviously, we've got Dalton Kincaid. So I think Javonte is really the main piece that you can move. Why don't we rank like the best deals that we've offered? Because for me, I would rather, like, I think Drake London would be number 1, then the 109, then George Pickens, the George Pickens deal.
Yeah. Okay, I'm okay with that. I'm just trying to see how valuable are running backs in a league like this where you really only have to start one. I'm just thinking, yeah, we have Javonte Williams.
Well, that's what I said at the beginning. I don't think they would be, but you talked about how we've got multiple guys who got good running backs, so it just depends on the person, I guess.
Well, I guess I'm just thinking, like, should we, instead of pivoting off of Javonte, should we pivot off of Jonathan Taylor to get the most value?
I don't hate that idea, but what happens if Denver drafts a running back, you know?
Yeah.
And Sean Payton isn't set on Javonte Williams building around him, if you get what I'm saying.
Yeah, I get you.
That's worst case scenario for our team. But
I'm really trying to tear up at the wide receiver position.
I don't mind that idea if we get a decent running back in return, like not a superstar, but that could also
I'm not thinking
be an
of
option.
Like, I'm thinking of like a Monty. I'm thinking of a Rashad White, even though there's talks of that team bringing in another running back, even though they didn't sign another running back, but that can still happen in the draft.
Well, why don't we talk about some of those names that we'd be comfortable tearing down to? Because I think Achane, now Jacobs. I don't think you can tear down to Saquon for anything now. Maybe you can't do it for Jacobs either. James Cook.
Yeah, James Cook.
I don't think I would personally add Rashad White at this point. Not that I don't like him. I just think there's too much. I like Monty. You did mention Monty.
Yeah, Monty.
Pacheco.
Yeah, Pacheco. I like Pacheco. I mean, I'll be interested in like the Warrens and the Najees, depending on how big of a tier my wide receiver is. But
what about Derrick Henry? Now that he's got a 2-year deal in
Baltimore. Yeah, I don't mind that either. That's what I'm trying to tier.
See, you might be doing that. I don't think I would, but would you do Swift?
Once again, I think it just all depends on who am I going to get it. If I'm going to really tear down, I need a really good player at the wide receiver position.
Okay.
And that's why I'm okay to tear down to as far as the Najees, the Jalen Warrens,
let's look at some options then.
The Swifts. Yeah, let's see.
We talked about Team 2, by the way. Brian Robinson, I don't want to tear down to him.
No, I do not. But can I send Javonte Williams? Can I send Jonathan Taylor and get like
Olave and Najee?
Yeah, Olave. Well, he doesn't have Olave.
Team 1.
Yes.
Team 1.
Team 1 has Olave and Najee. I still want depth though. Like, can I send one of those late round second picks to get one of these low end wide receivers? I don't know. Like, do you take a chance on Wicks or Wandale, or do you just get best player available at the draft there?
Well, how about, Team 6 isn't going to pivot down. They have CMC. You have to find a pivot down option here. I don't feel like the guy who has Kenneth Walker and Achane is going to be interested in pivoting down. You know what I mean? The guy who has Kyron, maybe. Like, we got to find an obvious pivot down option. Okay, the guy who has Monty is one of the best options. That's Team 13. So we go from JT, and we do get Monty in return, but we also are going to grab a superstar wide receiver here. Well, what we think could be a superstar wide receiver in Tank Dell.
Yeah, exactly.
You like that kind of move?
Yeah, I do like that move.
You might even be able to get more. Like, could you
Depending
get,
on how they view Tank Dell.
yeah, could you get like the 205 as well,
Hmm.
for example?
I like what
Um,
Matt said. He said Singletary. I don't know how you feel about Singletary. I do believe they can still bring another running back, by
that's
the
what I was
way.
gonna say, man. I feel like they are bound to take a running back round 2 to 3, and Singletary's like a rotational guy.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Because
It is risky.
isn't Dayball the same person who made Singletary and Moss a duo?
I think, yeah, he drafted those two guys. So
So
like,
I don't know why at this point he would be like Singletary's a bell cow now. We're like, wait, really? Why wasn't he before? I could be wrong there though.
I could be wrong as well.
That just might be too far down, I think, for me. But how about Team 14 who has Derrick Henry? I wonder if we could capitalize on the Jefferson concern. Can we get Henry and Justin Jefferson? We're gonna have to give up more than just JT. I'm totally aware of that. But would you give up? Because we have some picks that we can move around.
I'm willing to give up these seconds because of how
209,
late they
212.
are. Yeah, because how in reality how late they are in a 16-man league.
I don't know if you get that done. You probably have to add the 111, but that would be a starting point. We'd love that.
Yeah, I wouldn't mind that there. And then,
like,
once again, like, you still get the running back and you keep Javonte, hypothetically, or you can move Javonte and still build again from there.
Yeah.
But I kind of like that because then that really solidifies, once again, you get a whole nother wide receiver in that upper echelons tier. You have now 4 or 5 wide receivers, depending if you can get one of those throw-ins.
Yeah.
And still have the 111 if you weren't to send that 111 to get, the Mitchells, the Lads, the all those guys in the second tier of wide receivers. And then that all instantly changes with, well, yeah, you did tier down at the running back position, but you significantly upgraded at the wide receiver position, which kind of seems like the most important position here.
By the way, we don't have to force Javonte Williams move if it doesn't work. Don't force it, because keeping in mind that your crazy league, you can start 3 running backs if you need. You don't have to start all wide receivers. We would just prefer in this format with the premium or with like the PPR to be able to do that. But I mean, right now you're fielding in a lineup that looks like Stroud, Geno, probably JT at running back. Then you'll start Rice, Reed, and Kirk, but you're probably also starting Javonte Williams and Zach Moss, if at this point. And then we'll see what you do with those picks. But still, don't.
That's why I think this is old school. That's why I think these guys definitely took the running backs before. By the way, what's his name? Bcicco, B22. I called him. Before you send out those trades, put a feeler out. Understand what they value these running backs on for. I mean, obviously, you league the best, better than we do.
Yeah.
But if you still don't understand, say, hey, what does JT cost for you?
Yeah.
What do you think I can get before you start setting these trades? And then in reality, that's a hella low ball for them, or a great deal for them, and they would have paid significantly more for Jonathan Taylor. So yeah, I would agree.
Cool. Rick S is up next. Let me know if Rick S is in the chat. Are you watching on YouTube, Rick? Because we're about to break your team down. I know you.
I'm just gonna use the bathroom really fast. Sorry.
Yeah, go ahead and do your thing. But Bcicco, we appreciate you for supporting the channel. That is a crazy league, a very fun league, absolute chaos, and I absolutely love that it's chaotic. But we appreciate you, brother. We appreciate you big time. Thanks for supporting the show. Hey, guys, if you want your team reviewed, it's very simple. All you need to do is become a Mother Flocker member with the promo code LAND. We just put the link in the chat. Keep in mind, got to be a Mother Flocker member. Have to use the code LAND to get your Dynasty team reviewed. I would say skip the free trial if you want your team to be instantly eligible. Otherwise, you just have to wait for that trial to end. But there is an option when you sign up to click instant access, so you don't have to wait for that trial to end for your team to be eligible for a team review. We do see everyone in the chat. We appreciate y'all big time. Unfortunately, we can't do like a Q&A format for today because we want to kind of honor and appreciate those people who are supporting us over on the channel and give them their dedicated time. What we can absolutely promise, anyone who signs up you will get the same dedication we give to every single team that you see on the stream to you. We will give you the same dedication. We will go through your team the same way. And the next team for today that we are looking at is Rick Sanchez. And he says he is watching, which you love to see it. That must be, Wes Bar must be Rick. You love to see it. So Rick is up next. I know he submitted a couple times with the same team. I think he was just trying to make sure that we saw it. And I think there was...
Ricky. We got you.
I think there was a couple of... if I'm not mistaken, there was a couple things he added. But we will look at this, and he's here, which is great. So...
which one are we looking at? Is it like Team Men in Black?
Men in Black, yeah. He says, I am a friend of Ricky Boy. All right, you love to see it. So,
friends.
Men in Black is a team. It's a 1 quarterback, half PPR. My name is Rick Stewart. You love to see it. Rick Stewart. Just joined the flock.
A strong name.
Watch you two all the time for ideas. Thank you. Well, if you watch us all the time, then you probably hear us say some dumb things. But clearly, we've said enough smart things to trick you into thinking we're good at this. No, I'm joking. We appreciate the support. He says, should I draft a quarterback this season? Need wide receivers badly. And then I think he also put some more context here.
Yeah. 2 running backs, 2 wide receivers, 3 flex, tight end, defense, kicker, bench, 1 taxi spot.
I made the playoffs. That's interesting.
Yeah, made the playoffs last year. Wanted to compete this year. Need advice on my picks. He has 104, 107, 109, 204, etc., etc. I also have traded for 3 first-round 25 first. Okay. Also wanted you to rank my team in the league. This is my first year playing Dynasty. Okay. Well, look, good draft capital here. By the way, he can start up to 5 wide receivers.
Yes.
So that is definitely very important.
He did send a trade. He says that's a 109. I'm C-Town. Should I make this trade? Still have the 104 and the 107. So he would receive Etienne, a 2nd and a 4th. He would send James Cook, the 109, and Quentin. And as much as I love Etienne, this is not the price I'd pay for him. Because I've seen him go much cheaper than that. I would rather tier down to James Cook and get an extra first, and I love Travis Etienne. It's just, this isn't the kind of deal that I would personally be pursuing. And
you're getting a superstar in Quentin, let's be honest.
Yeah, and Quentin Johnson's a budding superstar. Honestly. What's that movie where the guy puts like glue on his gloves, smacks his hands, and then they're stuck?
I think that's Little Giants,
Is it? That's what Quentin needs to do. He'd be a superstar. Anyway, but yeah, I don't hate the idea of Etienne, but it's a little bit of an overpay. But we don't know if he's done the trade or not. I'm sure Wes will be able to let us know.
He definitely made the trade because I'm looking at his team ahead and he has James Cook.
No, so he didn't do the trade because he would have gotten.
Yes,
Etienne.
he didn't.
So
you're right.
Good.
He didn't do the trade. You're right. So that is good.
He was patient. He said, "I know, Dynasty Land's about to help me out." That's too much for Etienne, and I am the Etienne resident truther on the channel, so that is too much. But let's keep in mind it is a 1 quarterback league, half point premium, half PPR.
Yep, half PPR.
You can start. Let's talk this out. 1 quarterback, 2 running backs, 2 wide receivers. 3 flex, 9. A tight end. So we'll put the tight end actually before the flexes, just so we're on the same page. 3 flex spots, a kicker, and 12 bench spots. So in reality, that is 2, 4, 5, 9.
Yeah, start 9 outside of kicker defense, right?
Yeah, so it's start 9 if we remove the kicker. Which we can, because that doesn't really matter as much. Oh, it's a replacements, Britt said. Yes, the replacements. So thanks for the help there. But that is the format we're looking at. Half PPR, 1 quarterback league, start 9, 3 flex spots. You can start 5 wide receivers. So almost half of your starting lineup can be wide receivers in this format. That is definitely something we will keep in mind. What I want to know is talk to your commissioner. 1 taxi spot? 1 taxi spot?
One taxi. Come on, Commish.
I mean, the
baby.
standard is 4 taxi spots. You got some people going crazy, but at least give us 3 taxi spots at minimum. Come on, Commish. What are we doing? We got all these draft picks. We got 12 bench spots.
Next minute, it's Wes Bear, and he's
the
actual commissioner.
Yeah, that would be
You're
awkward.
an idiot. No, that'd be terrible.
1 quarterback, half PPR, start 9. Take us away.
Yeah, quarterbacks, Kyler Murray, 2 attacks. Phenomenal start there. You set and forget. Kyler Murray should be having a phenomenal bounce back year coming into this year with most likely looks like Marvin Harrison Jr. We'll wait and see what that looks like. Running back position.
Malik, but either way, he's going to have a stud.
Okay. You think, is that your hot take, Malik going over Marvin?
No. I'm not suggesting that. It just sounds like the Patriots could do something funky. I still think they go quarterback, but if anyone takes Marvin before the Cardinals, I think it would be the Patriots.
Yeah, and I want that to happen, please, because that means the quarterback's falling to the New York Football Giants. Anyways, running back position: James Cook, James Conner, Jerome Ford, Devin Singletary, which is not terrible.
No,
it's not a terrible running back room
too,
here. Yeah, and Raheem the Dream for sure. Raheem the Dream.
There's more than enough there for me to chill out for now.
Yeah, 100%. I like James Cook there. Devin Singletary could be the starting guy going into next year. Same thing with James Conner if they don't draft a running back. And then you have Raheem Mostert, who was the running back or RB2 all year this past year. And then Jerome Ford.
Don't expect the same thing for Mostert this year, but even if you get a top 20 finish, that would feel good with how he's valued in the market right now. Jerome Ford?
Yeah. And Jerome Ford. Yeah, Jerome Ford, we both like, and all depends on what happens with Nick Chubb there and what his timeline is looking like. But I think Jerome Ford is going to continue to have a role coming in to the next year.
So Wes is the commish. He said we took a vote and no one wanted more.
That's why you're the commish, Wes. You just do whatever you want.
No. That is a sign of a good commissioner, a vote. But what I would say is, like, I remember in our home Dynasty League, Badaki, there were things we tried to implement because we were like, yeah, this is cool. Like, everyone in Dynasty loves doing this, guys. And our home league would be like, that sounds too much. Why would we do that? No. And then a year later, they're like, why don't we do this? And we're like, we asked you and you said no. So maybe that's what Wes is dealing with. But I mean, if anything, Wes, you can time code this live stream later on, send it to your league. Hey guys, I promise you, if you add more taxi spots, it's going to benefit every single one of you. You already have smaller, bench spots, and having a taxi is one of the funnest parts about Dynasty. You can let guys who are unknown develop on your team. But anyway, moving on.
At the wide receiver position, once again, starting up to 5 wide receivers: Tank Dell, Devontae Adams, Shakira, Quentin Johnston, Wandale Robinson, Josh Palmer, John Mechie, and Trey Tucker.
A little rough there.
It is a little rough, no doubt about it here. But we'll definitely get into it at the tight end, at the wide receiver, at draft picks when we definitely bring up the whiteboard here. But there's hope. No question about it at some of these picks, which I personally like. Tank Dell, I think we both agree, top 10, top 12 wide receiver.
Top 15 to 20 for me. But yeah, I like him.
I would say top 10 to 12 for me. Devontae Adams, what's that quarterback going to look like? And he's not going to be this wide receiver.
Gardner Minshew, though.
Gardner Minshew.
That is pretty exciting for Devontae.
It's definitely very interesting. Shakira showed some glances of success this past year. Gabe Davis no longer here, but a team that is easily going to be drafted, at least we believe, easily drafting a wide receiver in this draft. Quentin Johnston. The biggest thing here is that if the Chargers don't take one of those wide receivers with their the top 5 pick, Quentin is still alive. Until then,
he's still alive unless they bring back Mike and Keenan and they draft someone in round 3. I think if they draft someone in round 2, 3, or 4, I'd still be not like panic button on Quentin, but it's certainly not a guarantee that they let him develop.
Yeah, and I think it just depends on who that is. If for me, and what that's going to look like. Wandale Robinson, Xavier, they get to the Chargers in the 3rd round.
Yeah.
Well, I'll be disappointed that Leggett fell to the 3rd round already.
Okay, 2nd round.
That's a concern.
Okay. Wandale
Robinson, another guy I believe in. Do they get another quarterback, slot wide receiver? We saw him take a little bit of a nice little step in the second half of the season. All depends on the quarterback play there, unfortunately, with big old Wandale Robinson.
Good tight end
But
room.
good tight end room. Trey McBride, Michael Mayer, Dawson Knox, and Tyler
Is
Higbee
it
there.
tight end premium? I don't think so.
It's not a tight end premium, but you sit and forget at the tight end spot there with Trey McBride and Michael Mayer here. But the draft stock is where we build.
We are absolutely flushed, full of picks. I love it.
Yeah. This is where we build our team here at it feels like the wide receiver position in.
We'll talk about all of our options here, but he's got a good amount of future draft capital too. He's done a very great, look, he's done such a good job of adding future capital. He's got 3 firsts in 2025. Brilliantly done. We haven't gotten rid of any of our future first. Brilliantly done. You know, sometimes people get too eager in a startup draft and they just send all their future capital away. Like, I'm going to win, Lee. I'm going to win year 1. It doesn't matter. You know, and then sometimes you learn the hard way that injuries are a part of this game. So, good job keeping a bunch of draft capital. Let's talk about what he can do with all these picks.
Yeah, sticking and picking in a 1 quarterback league here from starting at the 104. That can be Brock Bowers, Brian Thomas Jr. I would say the first 2, right? Yeah. Let's throw Ladd McConkey in there, Troy Franklin if you wanted to. I doubt they're going to be landing there, but
I think Brian you Thomas and I would agree at this point in a non-tight end premium format. And look, things can change, but if Brian Thomas goes top 20, which we think he will, he might even go higher at this point. What if he goes to the Broncos at 12 or wherever they are? I think you and I would be on the same page in saying like Brian Thomas would be our pick here over Brock Bowers if Brock Bowers went top 15, because we wouldn't have a strong preference between those two as talents. We might lean Brock Bowers, but anyway, I guess it could depend. I'll put Brian Thomas and Brock Bowers.
Yeah, the 107 there. I think that's where you can add the Ladds, the Troys, the Adonais, the Xaviers, if you wanted to go at the 109 or 107, excuse me. That kind of leaks into the 109 a little bit at the end with the Adonais, the Xaviers. Then you can get the Jermaine Burtons and or the running back rooms where the Trey Benson, Jonathan Brooks could potentially go at the 109 as well.
Yeah, Benson Brooks you mentioned.
Yeah, Benson Brooks. Like I said, kind of leaks in maybe to the Xavier Leggets if he does get the draft capital. Any one of those wide receivers that we're probably not expecting to get the best draft capital can easily go at the 109. And that can be from Roman Wilson to Ricky Pearsall to whoever. Insert your favorite sleeper guy that probably gets the best capital, right?
Yeah.
And then best player available at the 207, 209, and the 404. That's you sticking and picking. Automatically there, hypothetically, you have Brian Thomas Jr., Ladd McConkey, and then at the 204, you have a Jalen McMillan.
Well, you also have the 109, so you might have Brian Thomas, Ladd McConkey, and Adonai Mitchell.
Sure. And that instantly changes your wide receiver room there, which is exactly what you need coming into this team.
Yeah.
Which is great.
Yeah, I mean, you're going to have a great opportunity to turn some of these picks into really great players. Scenario 2, I don't actually think I'm interested in trading back from the picks that we have, though. I
don't think there should be a scenario 2 unless we are.
I guess scenario 2 is what can I get for the picks, because we don't have to use every single one of these picks on a rookie, right? I mean, like, for example, what is the 107 equivalent to in a 1 quarterback format right now? I wonder what Keep Trade Cut would say at this point. Let's start putting some names to the 107 in a 1 quarterback format. How about, I think Rice is probably too low at this point, but is that is Keep Trade Cut serious? Okay, then yes, I'll take Rashee Rice. What about Tank Dell?
But he has Tank Dell.
Oh, he does. What about I wouldn't mind having Nico, but I'm trying to think of some more names here. Let me look at the wide receiver spot. get some inspiration.
I guess it goes from like Tank Dell, maybe you can go to the Zay Flowers, you can go to the Brandon Ayuk's and Nico Collins. If you
wow, that's
really
crazy.
wanted to, you can do Jalen Waddle, maybe not 107.
That might be
I think
too
Jalen
low,
Waddle. Yeah, Jalen Waddle
probably the
be
Brandon
more
Ayuk's,
104.
like the Ayuk's and the Waddles are too low, but we'll put it there because there's no reason for us not to encourage you to try it. Doesn't mean that it's going to happen. I think Rice and Flowers seems pretty reasonable based off of keep trade cut prices. And keep in mind, this is a lot of people use this as their Bible. People won't do a trade unless they win on keep trade cut.
Yeah, 100%.
There's no way you could get London there.
Well, that's what I say. London, DJ Moore, I would say.
Yeah, you actually probably could get DJ Moore. No, they're saying he's too valuable now. London's too powerful now. We'll throw the names in there. I mean, they're probably not going to happen, but like I mentioned, I mean, we don't have to, all these picks we don't have to use in the draft. Can the 107 or the 109 turn into one of those names?
Well, I'm even if those guys don't work, if you're telling me the London DJ Moores don't work, I'll send the 107 and the 204.
Right. Okay. So you're saying
add one of those second
plus
picks,
the 204
for the
a Drake
London DJ Moore. Yeah, or the DJ Moores of the worlds.
Right. You got a lot of picks to play around with. I might actually start with the 107 and the 207 and see what happens from there. But, you know, what does our running back room look like again? I'm trying to remember. It's pretty strong. Like, we don't really need to make any moves. I was thinking about those second round picks. What could we turn those into? But, I mean, now I'm asking myself, with these second rounders, can I turn one of those into a Deontay Johnson? I know you and I aren't exactly on the same page there, but can I turn the 207 into a Deontay Johnson? Because I would personally be willing to do that. Would it take me to add the 404? You know, I don't know, but this move to me is the Panthers being like, please, someone help Bryce Young, please. And I think Deontay Johnson is the answer for them.
I would do it for a late second. I think when it comes down from like the 201 to the 206, 204, sorry, 201 to the 204 area, I would want to take the pick over Deontay Johnson at the moment. But yes, for the 207, I think it's a phenomenal price for Deontay. I'm definitely doing that.
Yeah. So I think those are some of the steps that you can take with your picks. Again, we can absolutely make every pick in the rookie draft, but we can also, you know, use those rookie picks to improve our roster elsewhere.
Yeah, I'm 100%. I am. Look, the only thing.
Yeah, go ahead.
The only thing I was gonna say, like, if my take is off the wide receiver position, if you had something else to go at the wide receivers to build off there, by the way.
Say again?
If you had another addition to add on at the wide receiver position, go ahead, because mine was getting off of the wide receiver position.
Well, I just don't see a natural player that is more valuable than the market says, so I wouldn't have one.
The only other thing I would do then at the running back position is trying to get these running backs that I really love.
Okay.
That I feel like a lot of people aren't really talking about too much at the moment. And the person that I keep going to for me is David Montgomery.
Yeah.
If I can get David Montgomery on this team, who's currently in the community right now, viewed as RB17, I'm happy to do that, right? Can I send Devin Singletary, depending on how they value, or Jerome Ford, or Raheem Mostert, and one of those second rounds to get David Montgomery, depending on where Monty is. I'm looking at it right now.
Yeah.
Maybe it's not actually doable.
Because of
Monty's, because who has him is never going to start him. Bijan Robinson, Saquon Barkley.
Yeah, well, maybe it is doable then. He's also got
maybe
Devontae Williams and Kendre Miller.
Yeah, so like I want David Montgomery on my team if that's the case, and I think that is the only other person I would want. I mean, I would be okay to tearing up in a way to like the Isaiah Pacheco's, the way he performed this past year. He's in that same tier with the James Cook. Other than that, those are the only two guys I'm willing to go out and try to acquire at the running back position.
Yeah.
Maybe to get off of the Jerome Fords, who is questionable, who I still like, but is questionable, right? With
Yeah.
Nick Chubb, who Raheem Mostert finishes as the top RB2, but in reality we know that's probably not going to be the case. Devin Singletary, who just signed with the Giants, who we both believe could potentially get another running back in the draft, right? Like,
Yeah.
let's pivot to these question marks where we know David Montgomery is going to be getting a good, at least a 40%, 50% workload, even with Jahmyr Gibbs there, what we
Yeah.
saw this past year. So,
A lot of
that's
different
where I'll be
options you
pivoting.
have here. I think if you stick and pick, you're going to build a great roster. You know, if you move some of these picks, I mean, let's play that scenario out. All of a sudden, I mean, your quarterbacks are fantastic still. Your running backs, maybe you get a Montgomery in here, but you add a Brian Thomas Jr., you add a Deontay Johnson, you add a Rashee Rice, and you also get a Roman Wilson, a Jalen Wright, Jalen Wright, Jalen McMillan, or Ricky Pearsall. All of a sudden, your wide receiver room it feels much better than it did before. You've got some solidified producers and also some upside, some wild cards there on your team. But he did ask us to rank his team in his league. It is a 12-team league, and yeah, I do think you have a very good team after these draft picks are, either traded or people are selected. I think you'll be one of the top 3 to 4 teams in this league. I wouldn't sit here and say that like you're absolutely going to beat teams like Team 3. You'll be competing with them, but they got some superstar power as well. So I'd probably rank you right around 3 or 4.
Yeah,
two to four, depending on how the picks. If the picks hit, you could be one of the best teams in the league for sure.
yeah. It feels like you kind of have a good way of controlling your future here. I would say he's better than Team 3 because he doesn't have the depth at the wide receiver
He does
position.
have no depth, and we've got more picks to work with for sure.
Yeah, but he does have some heavy hitters: Sam Laporta, Justin Herbert, Bijan, Saquon, and then Puka.
Yeah.
The problem is that it falls off at the wide receiver position. So I would agree, top 2 or 3 teams once these picks do get acquired on your team.
Yeah.
Here, and then use a hotline. Send your team in, send your roster in, and be like, hey, this is what my team looks like now. This is probably gonna be the starting lineup, and you like that. And once again, a lot of what feels like a question marks could still lead to something. Quentin, Jerome, Devin, Raheem, Wandale, right? Shakira. If they don't draft another wide receiver, they say, yo, Shakira's our guy. With Stephon Diggs, I mean, I'd probably be upset about it because I'm hoping a wide receiver goes to the Bills. But that's great.
Yeah.
Shakira has Michael Mayer, another level as well. So
Yeah,
agree.
I think you're doing great. I think this team is in a very good spot, and you've got very good future draft capital. You've got good foundational pieces. So you're definitely competing this year, in my opinion. I want to give I want to give Rick a chance to ask any questions. This is his time to shine. So if we haven't answered anything, or if there's anything in particular, that you wanted us to discuss that we haven't, let us know in the chat now, Rick. We want to make sure we cover your team as best as we possibly can. So there could potentially be some things that we haven't talked about that you'd want us to talk about. So we'll leave the next 30 seconds or so for you. But guys, again, friendly reminder, if you want your team reviewed, it's very simple. All you need to do is become a Mother Flocker member with the promo code LAND. When you do sign up, I would suggest skipping the free trial with the instant access option. Otherwise, you just have to wait for your trial to end in order for you to be eligible for a team review. But we did get through Rick's team. We got through Bcicco's team.
Yeah, MaadHats.
MaadHats. And up next is Moritz. Moritz is up next. He's on deck. And I'm pretty sure someone signed up today. Let me double check. I think we have someone who signed up today. Which D Leffer, I think. So I'm sure we'll hear from him soon. MaadHat said had commitments, and that's okay. Hopefully you can use your hotline afterwards if you have questions.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
do we have any final questions here from Rick? I want to make sure we give him a chance here.
Certain say I know.
How are you feeling about Saquon
Gone.
It's
He's
been a
dead
day
to me.
now.
Dead to me. Nah. I've actually always been okay with Saquon leaving. I've already kind of knew that we probably weren't going to be paying him. I just wasn't expecting it to be the Eagles.
Sure.
That's all. Like, I think it's frustrating that we're going to be seeing Saquon twice a year, and we're probably going to lose. And he's probably going to have one of the best games, or we just stop now that we got Brian Burns and say, you know what, you ain't shit no more. But it's okay.
He's gonna have some extra motivation, that's for sure.
Yeah, 1,000%. So I'm okay with Saquon walking. Just don't love that to the Eagles.
All right. So Wes says, "Thanks, guys. Stay awesome. No more questions," which is awesome. Hey, make sure to let Rick know if he does have questions. That little DM that we set up with him, pop your questions in there. That's the best way to get us to see it and get an answer. But hey, guys, we appreciate you. Go ahead and smash that like button to show some love. Also, I wanted to, I'm about to record a video, and I know it's silly, but I wanted to get as many votes on this poll as possible, because I just want to see what people's perception is as I record this video. The question is basically, what round in the NFL draft has produced the least amount of top 24 finishes in the last 10 years? And I want to see what people think. So let me know in the comments below, or on Twitter. Just submit your vote. But that's it. We appreciate you. Tomorrow we will probably do a rookie draft.
Yes, we should definitely. I mean, let's just play it by ear. I mean, unless if there's some big wide receivers getting signed tomorrow. I mean, not big. It really only is Calvin Ridley there. Maybe another big trade happens. Let's just play it by ear and continue to rock.
Do we know what the Panthers trade was for Deontay Johnson?
Yeah, it was a 5th round. They sent a 7th round pick, if I'm not mistaken, and received a 6th round. So they got Deontay. They sent him with Deontay in the 7th and received a 6th round pick and Deion Jackson.
Okay.
That was a player.
Well, that's it for today, guys. Hit that like button on the way out. We appreciate you. We'll see you soon. All love.
Love.